Not 5 minutes. Or give me 30 seconds. How many people are on right now? Wait. Oh man, there we go. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Talks. Man, I appreciate y'all tapping in with me, man. I asked the team just now, I said, hey, do we cancel? Are people, technical difficulties, you got the storm, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. Even though we in Atlanta, you got the hurricane that's coming up the east part and up by Florida. So we're getting all that rain. And so we're doing things a little different today, but the team was like, nah, bro, you got people in the chat, you know what I'm saying, like right now, tapped in. And I was just like, well, I can't let them down because I was so finna put a plug. Like this ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like another, we'll live to fight another day. But they said people are tapped in. So I showed up, you know what I'm saying, in honor to you, man. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you all that's tapped in, that's listening to us right now, man. I'm excited for tonight. I'm gonna talk to you all about what it takes, ironically. Oh, Holy Ghost, talk tonight. We talking about what it takes to build a winning team. This next level talks. Let's get it.
You go out here and you claim your seat.
Oh, oh, I just touched down, now it's time to celebrate. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Keep it a C note, if I'm speaking, I'm the keynote. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh. Dance, 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 dance.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Man, welcome to another episode of Next Level Talks tonight. Tonight, let's get right to the topic, y'all. Tonight is building a winning team, building a winning team. For those of you all that feel like you're in need of a team, you feel like you out here all by yourself, you're in need of a team, just put I need a team in the chat. Just put I need a team in the chat. Those of y'all that's like, you feel like you kind of doing this thing all by yourself, but you wish you had the support. You wish you had, you know, saying folks tapped in with you. Like, let me know in the chat if you feel like you do indeed need a team. And we're going to speak to that. We're going to speak to that tonight, like what it takes to really build a winning team. And I'm gonna kind of rewind to kind of share with you all my journey. We've got about approximately 20 people that work with our organization across various organizations, right? So when you look at, we got our next level curriculum, we got our next level students curriculum, rather, we got my speaking company, you have the Next Level Speakers Academy, we have the Next Level Brand Studio, we have our Next Level Living Foundation here in America and in South Africa. We got quite a few different things, going on. And so, when you look at the totality of it, people are just like, man, Jeremy, like you've got a really big, massive team. And I'm like, man, we're small, but mighty. You know what I'm saying? Like we're small, but mighty. And I've just really been blessed to have an amazing group of God-fearing individuals that show up every single day and they put forth their best effort. And so really proud of the team that God has blessed me with, really proud of the team, that I have, but it has not always been like this. Y'all see the Jeremy now, come October, I'll be celebrating 15 years, in the speaking industry, right? But the last 14 plus years, like it was a process to get here. And I want to take some time to kind of rewind to kind of let you all know, kind of like what it's been like over the years as we've been building our team. But first, I want to highlight some people that's on our team. I want to highlight some people that's in our community team. That's a part of the Next Level Speakers Academy. We have two people that we want to spotlight. Lisa Howes got 10,000 for one speaking engagement, y'all. Imagine sharing for an hour, you know what I'm saying, and making $10,000. Y'all either put some hearts in the chat for Lisa Howes or put 10K in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Put hearts in the chat for Lisa Howes or put 10K in the chat. Super proud of Lisa. Lisa's been a part of our community for several years. She joined our elite program. She's just tapped in and she get results. She be at every call. And here's what I love. No matter how much success Lisa has, she's still tapped in. She like, Coach, now I got this proposal coming up. What's his language? Is this price too high? What should I tweak? I love it. Like her humility, her heart, her spirit. She want to make us proud. She want to make God proud. And she don't want to make no mistakes. You hear me? Like Lisa House is like, look here. I done came too far to come this far. Like I'm trying to go to that next level. So shout out to Lisa House. Nothing but love and respect for her. And then Nate Evans. Come on, Nate. Booked 22, over 22 speaking engagements. Somebody put 22. Somebody put 22 in the chat. Hey, that thing was so nice you heard it twice. Hey, somebody put 22 in the chat. Nate Evans got 22 speaking engagements, y'all, in 3 months. That is different. So, you know, here at Next Level Speakers Academy, we celebrate impact, what Nate is doing, and income, right? We want you to have both. There ain't nothing wrong with making income, you know what I'm saying, as long as your heart is with impact. So every time we have a Next Level Talk, we're going to highlight somebody in our community like Nate Evans that's making impact, and he just did a whole tour in Mexico. My man was in Mexico City changing lives. So shout out to Nate. Super proud of you, man. Shout out to you and your team and what y'all have done. But 22 speaking opportunities in 3 months is phenomenal, right? And then Lisa Howes, you know, impact and income, 10K for her speaking business. Super proud of you. And I'm proud of you for tapping in, for waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't dare be like, man, let's just do it another time because they ain't up to the standard. Like, sometimes it'd be like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn to rise to the occasion. Get over your feelings, get over your emotions, get over your frustrations. I can't tell y'all how many times I showed up at a speaking engagement and the microphone didn't work, or I showed up at a speaking engagement and it's supposed to be a certain group of people there, or I showed up at a speaking engagement and they played the wrong speaker reel. I've been at some events, y'all, where they played the wrong speaker reel, and I'm sitting here watching the speaker reel from years ago. They done got creative, didn't use what Ebony sent, went and found some online like that, played that. Now I got to sit through 4 minutes of pure irritation. And I'm like, help me, Holy Ghost, help me to turn it on. Help me to flip that switch, because I really want to be here pissed. I really want to be here in my feelings, but sometimes you got to show up. Sometimes you got to show up and say, you know what, it is what it is. There are people in the audience waiting for me. It ain't what I want. It ain't up to standard. It ain't how I like it to be. It might not be always the comfort. I am committed to the call. When I told y'all I was going to do Next Level Talks, I didn't say I'm going to do Next Level Talks as long as we got 2-3 camera angles and the whole team is here and it's sunny outside. I said I'm going to do 2-3 Next Level Talks a month, regardless of the circumstances, to add the maximum value to you. Man, y'all put show up in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Stop playing with me. Y'all put show up in the chat. I'm showing you what it looks like when you show up every single day and say, man, regardless of what's happening around me, there are people waiting on me. I promise you, if my team would have said, Jeremy, everybody logged off, I'd have been like, bet. They said, Jeremy, it's about 40 people on. 40 is enough for me. I promise you. If they'd have said, Jeremy, it's 12 people on, 12 is enough for me, doggone it. Y'all finna be my 12 disciples. We finna go in. I showed up for you. Are you showing up for you? You want people to show up and be a part of your team. Are you showing up for your team? Can you be a part of your one? Let's talk about it. How do I build a winning team? Are you even winning? You want people to show up for you? Have you showed up for yourself? So write that in your notes. I'm teaching tonight. I'm not motivating you tonight. I'm not inspiring you tonight. I'm teaching tonight. Have you showed up for yourself? What do we look like expecting other people to show up for us if we haven't first showed up for ourselves? And I believe you are. I'm just giving it to you raw right now. I want you to feel what I'm saying. There has to be a certain grit, a certain ethos, a certain vibe, a certain spirit inside you where people want to work with you. But have you even caught the bug for you to share it with somebody else? Come on, somebody. What are we talking about? If I go and kick it with my cousin and he gonna pass me the flu, he can only give me the flu if he got the flu first. Come on, somebody put preacher in the chat if you know I ain't lying. You gotta have that bug. You gotta have that thing inside you for you to pass it to somebody else. Is it making sense? Can you put make sense in the chat if it's making sense to you? You gotta have it inside of you to give it to somebody else. So when people meet Jerry and they meet his sister G Money and they meet Prince and they meet Deani and they meet Nicole Star Crumpler Anderson, you know what I'm saying? Like when they meet the team, they like, oh, Jeremy, they carry your spirit because it's in me. Is it in you? What does that look like for you and your brand? How do you carry yourself? What's your energy? What's your love like? What's your heart posture? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you focused? Are you locked in? Let's start with you. I'm gonna get to the team. I'm gonna get to Hollywood track people, but are you even sweet? Are you even sweet like that? Are you even honey? You know what they say? You catch more bees with honey. Like, what are you doing internally to attract people? My first team member was Tracy Chanel. Tracy Chanel was my first team member. My wife, my first team member, she supported me. She helped me set up my little LLC. She helped me set up my little business, and she saw something inside me. She saw like, man, because she knew me when I was moving work. Now, a lot of that lifestyle I tried to hide from her, she was just on some ghost stuff, like power. She saw me running clubs. She didn't know a lot of the other stuff I was making. I know she's probably thinking like, I didn't know the clubs was that good. You know what I'm saying? I tried to hide a lot from her. But she saw when I gave my life to Christ. She saw when I got baptized. She was there in the audience in South Carolina when my daddy baptized me at his church. She saw me go down in that watery grave. She saw like, okay, let me see if he really about that life. She saw, oh, listen to me. She saw week 1. Yep, no blunts. She saw week 2. He still ain't smoking. That boy went from a pack of Newports a day to he ain't smoking no cigarettes. She saw a month later like, still coming home, night at the strip club. Yep, he not out. Robin, like, yep, he still ain't drinking, he still ain't smoking. Like, she saw me sign up for church and to become a young adult leader and a youth outreach advocate. She saw me knocking on doors and feeding homeless and looking out for single moms and getting them groceries. Like, she saw me out in the hot sun of Alabama. Now, y'all know Alabama get hot, right? She saw me in the hot sun, 97 degrees during the summertime, leading a group of middle school and high school and college kids, knocking on their doors, feeding people, coming home sweating like I've been out landscaping all. She saw like, yo, he really serious about it. She saw me trying to put together my own little websites because I couldn't afford to have nobody build out my website. She saw that. She saw me doing the best I could with the little bit I had, which made her say, I got your back. But I never even wanted her to have my back like that. I wasn't even like looking for her to make that move. But when I went to that middle school in Alabama, when I spoke and that little girl said, Mr. Jeremy, I was going to commit suicide, but I came and heard your message, and now I want to live because now I know weapons will form, but they won't prosper because I'm more than a conqueror. She was like, now I want to live, Mr. Jeremy. And when I went home and told my wife, thus says the Lord, he told me to quit my job. She was the one that was like, I want in. I'm gonna quit my job too. I remember asking her, like, you gonna quit your job? I remember, like, you know, said she was like, yep. I'm like, did you pray about that? Because I needed her to keep working. She worked for the government. Everybody know you get a good government job, you don't quit that. You don't quit that. She quit that because she bought that life. She was my first team member. So you have to be so dedicated. You have to be so committed to the call where people naturally want to work with you without you even asking them to. To this day, every single day when I go to Instagram, I got somebody that sends me a long, heartfelt DM saying how they really want to work with our team. Every single day, how they want to work with our team. It is such an honor to get those messages. It's an honor to get those emails. People is writing me letters now and sending it to our business email saying, I want to be a part of your team. You changed my life. It's an honor to be in it is an honor, and I cherish it. But there's a reason why people are saying, I want to rock with you. So the first question you got to ask yourself is like, what is it that you're doing day to day to put yourself, y'all got me sweating now, so you know I'm on. What is it that you got to do day to day? Who do you got to be? Listen to me, y'all. Sometimes you got to be the one to send the emails and to send the text and to pull up on people and to do a little design work and to go to Canva and to film your own videos. I remember in my backyard, Coach Crump, y'all know our director, my right-hand man, my brother, Coach Crump used to tease me because I would have my camera popped up on patio furniture in my backyard and was shooting motivational videos with my bulldogs in the back, running along the kennel, barking, looking hella hood. I remember Crump was just like, when he first met me, like, who is this dude out here with a t-shirt on and a beater with dogs running in the backyard trying to motivate people? All I had was my backyard. I ain't have no studio. I ain't have no whole camera. I just had my cell phone. I worked and did with what I could do with what I had. And that's all I did, and I put that work in. Right? So the next note I want you to write down is do the best you can with what you have. Do the best you can with what you have. That's all we're asking you to do. Do the best you can with what you have. I know y'all wish y'all had these big, long, elaborate teams. All that's going to come, but you got to figure out something first. Because when your team say, well, how do you do this? You can say, you know what? Well, in 2016, when I came across this problem, this is how I did it. There are some things that you're going to have to go through first. So as you're handling your business, as you're doing the best you can to just do what you can do, now you want to figure out, okay, who is some of y'all are probably wondering, okay, Jeremy, matter of fact, let me ask y'all this question here. How many of y'all want to know, and I'm going to come to you, Prince, when they start popping up, just kick it to Prince and he'll start sharing. How many of you want to know, okay, Jay, what is the most critical person? Who are the most two important hires I should make? Y'all want to know that? Let me know who wants to know that. Who are the first two team members that you need to bring on? The first two team members. Y'all let me know in the chat if you want to know who are the first two critical team members. And I'm going to show you how to bring those folks on before you're even able to have a full-time salary for them. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. I just want to know how many of y'all kind of want to know that? And if it's not a big interest, I'll just skip over those parts and list them. But I kind of want some engagement. I want to hear from y'all. Who we got tonight?
Jay, it's looking like they all want to know.
Give me some names. I want to know who in the building.
We have Tamika Banks wants to know I do. Jalil Mackey, C. Allen, A. Hicks, Megan Anderson, our cousin, Brittany Whitaker, Bonnie Frenier, Keisha L. Blair.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so let me give it to y'all real quick. So the first person that you need to bring on to your team, which is not a full-time hire, but the first person you got to bring on is going to be someone that can take those calls and do the negotiation for you. Write it down. Write it down, right? Like the first person you're going to bring onto your team is somebody that can take those calls and that could do the negotiation for you. That's the first hire, right? And let me tell you something, because when you're first starting, business is not booming for you. So it's not like it's like a full-time or part-time job, right? At best, they might respond to one or two emails or one or two calls. And truth be told, you can respond to all the emails. That sucker can say support@megananderson.com. You hear me? So if your website is megananderson.com, the email that they send it to could be support or booking@megananderson.com. Y'all know how that's true? Can I tell y'all how that's true? That's what I used to do. I was about to tell myself, but then y'all was gonna have my personal email. Okay, I'm gonna skip that part. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, and share. All that good stuff. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Jerry. So I was gonna teach on something, but then y'all gonna have my personal email. Let me just say this: you put that sucker support at, you know what I'm saying, and then you can respond to that. But at some point, they're gonna have to get on the phone with someone. Because when Claire in Milwaukee says, hey, we're so interested in booking you, I would love to have someone on the team, or what is your price? That's when you're going to respond, hey, Claire, thank you so much for reaching out. I would love to have you jump on a call with Sabrina. What day this week works for you? Now, Sabrina could be your cousin. Sabrina could be your mama. Sabrina could be your auntie, right? It could be Patrick. Patrick could be your best friend or your business partner or whoever, right? Patrick could be your husband. You just want to have another person that is professional. Don't have your cousin that, that work at the local, like barbershop, like answer the phone. You want to have someone that has a very professional tone and someone that can listen, and it's so easy to coach them up because they don't have to, all the questions somebody's going to ask is really on the website. But here's what's significant. That's why this role is so important. When people talk to you, right? So Prince, name somebody that's active in the chat right now. I'm gonna give a practical person. Just name somebody just give me a random name that's in the chat real quick.
Chris Lacey.
All right. So say Chris. So say an organization wants to book Chris, and that organization says, "Hey, Chris, we'd love to jump on the phone with you to talk about what it is that saying how you can provide value to our organization." The last thing Chris want to do is say, "Yeah, okay, let's talk at 6. Hey, yep, okay, this is me. We're talking." And then when price come up, she starts negotiating price. That for me, you got to think about the psychology. When you are the person answering the phone, you respond to the emails, it's not saying that you're not a good speaker or nothing. They just don't take you serious like an actual company or an enterprise. We need to have you looking like you the celeb, you are the professional, you have a team behind you. But let me tell you what happens when James, her husband, my man, pick up the phone and says, "Hey, this is James with Chris Lacey Enterprises. How can I help you?" Or, "Hey, Patricia, yes, this is James. Yes, I've been with Chris now for 14 years." They think as a speaker, they don't know that James is the husband. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be her best friend, Melissa, or it could be her sister, Patrice, right? Or it could be one of the community members. Like maybe, ooh, how dope would that be if Chris took calls for, what I'm saying, for Sabrina, and Sabrina took calls for Chris. Just have another person do the negotiating on your behalf. It feels like you're an official company, institution, organization. It just feels different. Does it make sense? Y'all put "make sense" in the chat so I can move on. If it makes sense, put "make sense" in the chat. And then for compensation, you can just tell them, for every deal that goes through, I'll give you 10%. I'll give you 20%. The bigger percentage that you give them, and you can put a cap on it, by the way, but the bigger percentage that you give them, the more incentive they have to be on top of those emails. But it depends. If they're watching the emails, if they're sending follow-up emails, if they're doing outbound calls and taking inbound calls, then maybe you give them 20% because you ain't got to do nothing. Right. But if they're just the one that's on the phone, that's going to do some phone follow-up, that's going to do, because you need somebody that can handle all the logistics. Right. Okay. What's the time of the flight? You know what I'm saying? Like the ACH form, contracts, you need that person that can go back and forth. So I'll say 10, 15, maybe even 20%, just depending on what they're doing. And they can still do that part-time. So they still in their corporate office. They know they're going to take their coffee break at this time. That's when they can schedule that call with that school, that company, that organization, or that church. So your first hire should be someone that can take those calls. And it's really good if they can take those calls and manage the email with you and just give them access so you can watch the email and they can watch the email. They might miss the email, but you're at work saying, "Hey, girl, an email came in. Check it when you get a chance later today." That's cool. And they'll check it when they can. They'll set up a call and they'll get you booked. So that's to be the first person that you bring onto your team. And you don't have to worry about coming up with a big salary to pay them, because they can just kind of eat what they kill, if that makes sense, right? The second pivotal important person to bring onto your team would be a videographer slash photographer. I'm not saying both. I'm saying one that can do both. What makes Jerry so sweet is Jerry, with that same camera that he's filming B-roll, that boy will hit that switch and now he's taking high quality pictures, right? So you really want to make sure that you have a photographer, a videographer first. That's his primary skill. And then secondary photography work, somebody that can travel with you. Now, you might be saying, "Jeremy, man, I can't hire, send a full-time person. Like that could be $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, someone that can travel and film and edit." Like, okay, I get that. That might not be something that you can afford right now, but you can afford someone to pay them for each opportunity each time. Right. And so if you get an engagement for $3,000, $4,000 or $2,000, $3,000, or maybe $1,500, you need to have that videographer there with you. And they might charge you $500. Now you might be thinking, "But Jay, if they charge me $500 and my flight for them is $500 and $200 for the hotel that night, and they ask me if I will cover their food, and I gotta rent a car, like that's the whole $1,500. What do y'all think? What do you think you should do? What do you think I would tell you to do for some of my day ones? If the organization is only paying you $1,500, and Prince, I want you to get ready to respond. If the organization is only paying you $1,500 and you like, "Shoot, I gotta pay my videographer $500 and their flight gonna cost $500, not even counting how much my flight gonna cost. And it's gonna be about $200 for the hotel. I gotta pay for food and a rent a car. That's eating up all my money. What do y'all think I would tell you to do?"
Nate Evans Jr. said invest. Bonnie says do it. Sylvester Williams says, go all in. Christina Taylor says, execute.
100% execute, invest, go all in, spend it, because again, you are putting money back into your business. You're making an investment back into yourself. I cannot stress to you all the importance of you doing that. And so and then because that content, that footage, that B-roll, those testimonials, that stuff is going to make you and generate more revenue for your business in the future. Now, if you're gonna go to a church and you in like the church little banquet hall or the youth center, and it's like a dusty basement and the poor lighting, well, let's be wise now. All right. Let's be wise now, right? I have learned to be very analytical in this season of my life over the years. So you also want to make sure that you're investing wisely. So do not buy and book a videographer, buy a flight for them, have them come in and then not see the venue and then be disappointed. Like, don't do that. I did that early on. I pulled up at some churches and then videographer in the back, and it's about 12 people there. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, you here now. I done paid for your flight and everything. I never thought to say, send me some pictures. I never thought to say, how many people you all expecting? I never thought to say, let me see some pictures and videos from previous events. I would have known like, okay, I'm gonna go and bless the people, but I'm gonna leave my team behind. All right. So the videographer would be the second most important person that you bring on to your team to make sure that you capture the footage of the experience, because that is going to be important to be able to share with people in the future, to let them know, hey, you hear these testimonies, you see this B-roll, you see me on this stage speaking, you see this speaking moment, these speaking clips, all of that stuff goes back into your business, right? And then from there, so some of y'all might say, okay, Jeremy, like when do I hire like a full-time person? It just depends. It just depends on what the need is. You might have something sweet with that one person and might just rock out with that person. Like, hey, you gonna just be my booking manager. You ain't never gotta quit your job. We gonna do this 10% thing and ride this till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like that videographer, you might not never hire them full time where they work exclusively with you, or you can get to that point. It really just depends. Let me share with y'all my journey, and then I'm gonna get to your questions. And Sylvester, when I do Q&A, I'm gonna come to you first, my brother, because you were one of the members from the academy that I missed previously on the call I was just on. So when we first started, Tracy and I, Eb is coming up on, like, she's been with us for about 9 years now. I've been doing it for 15 years. So it's about 6 years. It was just Tracy and I. Like, it wasn't nobody else, right? And so when we brought Ebony on, she kind of came on as like a social media manager. Like, can you keep up with the DMs? Can you keep up with the messages? Maybe post something here or there. Like, that's really kind of what we was on at that moment. And I'll never forget. Let me tell you something. Loyalty goes a long way for me, is as long as, of course, it makes sense, right? Because there are some people that's super loyal, but they in prison right now because they took a bid for their homeboy. Don't be that type of, that's a different type of loyal. I can't even get into that, but just follow me what I'm saying here. When Ebony first started with us, Ebony was a teacher. She was taking calls and booking me. This was 9 years ago, in between her class periods, right? Like in between classes, like in between certain sessions, like she would take a break, she would take the call, come back to the classroom, get the babies together, then take another call. And I'm throwing out a number. I could be completely off. I feel like I'm spot on, but it was maybe 3-4 months where she was in this role. And I'll never forget the day I got the call. First off, I hit Ed because I met her in DC. I was speaking at a university there, and she had a great spirit, and she was always commenting to our stuff on Twitter. And so everybody, like within the Grace Tour, was just like, man, this Ebony, she's a special person. We felt her spirit. We invited her out. She came. We met her, and we kind of stayed in contact. And then me and Tracy reached out. I got an opportunity. It's not paid. If you're trying to volunteer and just help me manage some of this stuff on social media, you know what I'm saying? And then maybe some bookings, and it evolved. And she was like, let me pray about it. That's when I was like, okay, great. Because there are some people that would be so quick to jump on something. And it's like, you kind of on some, I'm excited to just work with Jeremy. You ain't even took it before God yet. And I'm not your God. Like, you don't even know if that's even. So the fact that she was like, let me pray on it. I was like, I like that. She came back to us in a couple of days, was like, I'm all in. After a few months, she was like, I'm realizing now how important my role is. Listen to me, y'all. She said, I realize now how important my role is and how much you all need me. She was like, God told me to quit my job and to tell you and Tracy, because I know you can't afford me right now. Don't worry about paying me. Let that sit for just a minute. Folks wonder like why like Eb, she different. Listen to me. She was just like, her heart posture was just like, I'm listening to Abba. I love it when she called God Abba. She was like, and don't worry about trying to pay me right now. Like I know that's gonna come, but y'all are doing God's work. She done seen me preach the gospel. Like she's seen me, the spirit behind it. She, you know what I'm saying? She was like, I love teaching these kids, but there's a deeper purpose that I feel here. And I feel like and so for me, I was just like, wow, like that's different. And you know what I instantly knew then? God was just like, she gonna forever be blessed because of the sacrifice she's making. Because let me tell you something, people that really sacrifice for us, people that really rock with Next Level, that really be pouring into us, like they always give. I can't explain to you the favor that's in our organization. Long story short, Ed was working with us, and I was just like, you know what? Watch God open up some doors and some big checks come in. It wasn't even a year, y'all. I promise you. And Ed can come on and tell me and correct me later. I know I ain't lying. It wasn't even a year. It was maybe a couple months where she didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? Before we was able to give her a small salary. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it's like, we could shoot you a little something per month. And then it began to grow and grow and grow over the years. So Ed was the first team member. We didn't bring another team member on for probably another 4 years, maybe. And when we launched the stuff in the school space, it was Ryan. We went to college together. He was like teacher of the year. He was a science teacher. He was phenomenal. I needed someone to help me with PBIS and right now curriculums. We brought him on. Then we hired Leslie, who used to run some record label stuff. Like we began to slowly like add people to kind of take more stuff off of us. Y'all write this down. This is very important. The people that you hire and you spend money on or you outsource, they should either A, generate revenue for your business, or they should save you time. Period. They should give you time back. They should save you time so you're not doing if you could take something off my plate and I ain't got to do this, I will pay you for that because time is the most valuable thing in the world, right? So either they give you time back or they generate revenue for your business, right? So for me, if I had to run a company, we ran it for years, wasn't the best at it, but we did the best we could with a small team. But then when we bring on the Nicole Star Crumpler, when we bring on Chris Crumpler, it's like, oh, you the director, you the COO, we on board. I didn't even know the language on board. I'm sitting here capping. They taught me the language on board. It's like, y'all get this thing sorted. Now you run with it. You see what I'm saying? Like it's over time, just people can't. There is somebody I'm praying for right now. I'm not even going to say the role responsibility. I had a meeting earlier with Nick. I noticed another gap. It's actually kind of a constant gap that's constantly there. I'm praying secretly for that role. I can't go to Indeed.com or ZipRecruiter. For us, for you, you could probably do that and God will hook you up. But our situation is too different. I'm praying now for a specific role. So look, y'all, I'll be really going to God for stuff. I'm really about that life. Like I really be going to God, like, God, this is a pain point for me. God, you know how frustrating this is for me. God, like I need you to help send somebody this way. God, I'm doing your work. I literally be talking to God, respectfully, big guy. It's your company though. Come on, y'all let me know in the chat if you pick it up what I'm putting down, right? Like, I'm like, God, this but you really the COO. You like, you know what I'm saying? You the CSO, the Chief Savior Officer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this really your company. I think some of y'all should make it a matter of prayer. Say, God, who should be that person answering calls and sending emails for me? God, who should be that person that's just gonna be that videographer that's gonna travel with me from time to time with good energy, somebody that can also cover me in prayer. Don't just have somebody with a camera that just want to get $1. Like, don't do that. You find somebody that really believe in what you're doing. Find somebody that really believe in what you're doing. Can I tell y'all about Javen? Can I tell y'all about Javen? Y'all, I've been rocking with Javen for 15 years. Same videographer that does my speaking reels and stuff like I've been rocking with my man for almost 15 years now. When I first got baptized and gave my life to Christ, my man did a mini documentary with me that was freaking phenomenal 15 years ago. I've been creating dope content. We've been doing some amazing stuff, and I still work with him to this day. Matter of fact, he's working on the faith-based speaker reel for me right now. He does so much stuff for our company. I'm still rocking with Javen. 15 years. And when people do good business, you just keep doing good business with them, right? And so you want to ask like, God, who's supposed to be connected with me? Who's supposed to be in alignment with me? Like, who is the person? And guess what? Some of y'all might be like, I've been praying for that person ain't come yet. Well, either you ain't ready for that person, because God gonna give it to you when you're ready, or the timing ain't it. So it could be on you or it could be on God, right? But that you don't want to force nothing. And so you want to hire somebody. Let's recap. You want to hire somebody, or you want to bring people onto your team that save you time or generate revenue for your business. The first two hires should definitely be someone that can manage the calls, the emails, do the negotiation on your behalf. And you really want to have somebody that can travel with you from time to time and capture content. Now, I will make another recommendation, but you got to be very anal. You got to be very like tapped in, locked in when it comes to this part here, right? When you have people, because you can't save money. There are some times, like Jaden lived in Alabama with me. Now I'm in Atlanta. He's in Nashville, but we both live in Huntsville, Alabama. So Jaden has literally gone travel with me to Grand Cayman Islands several times, to Bermuda, the island of Bermuda, several times to India. He has traveled with me to South Africa, all over Canada, Montreal, Quebec, you know what I'm saying? Like Europe, like Javen literally has traveled all Australia, Sydney and Melbourne, Australia. Like he's literally traveled the world with me. Now, Jerry, who's also working on our team, who is the engineer and producer behind Next Level Talks. Everybody say, what up, Jerry? Y'all show Jerry some love real quick. I ain't even want to say this until I start seeing what up, Jerry tap in. Y'all say, what up, Jerry? But Jerry done been with me all over the U.S. He done came with me to Australia 2 years ago. He done been to Mexico, Cancun a bunch of times. Now we about to go to Canada, Toronto. Now then we're gonna go to the UK, London, England. So like folks getting their passport stamped. Y'all hear me and hear me clearly. When you find you a good videographer, rock out, but you also gotta also be tactful and wise with it. There were some events when Jabin didn't do, because I found a videographer that was there local, so I didn't have to cover that flight. I didn't have to cover that hotel. And Javen understood. Come on, somebody put aha in the chat. So though you want to be loyal, you also want to be wise. You know what I'm saying? And I could not afford at that time. Now, where I'm at now, I like Ebbs locking in deals now for 2025. I'm already knowing, okay, Jerry going with me wherever I'm traveling, like Jerry going to be rolling, right? Like I don't have Javen travel as much. Like I got folks kind of compartmentalized. But I'm in a place in my career. I'm not going to say, Jerry, you ain't got to come to this one. I'm going to find somebody local to save money. I'm past that. But starting off, that's where you want to be. You want to be a good steward with listen to, I'm trying to teach y'all, man. Don't make the mistakes I made. You want to be a good steward with the resources God has given you. I remember having Javen with me one time, and I got to the city, and my homeboy was a videographer. I was like, bro, I wasn't even thinking. I was like, shoot, his flight was like $700. His hotel was like $180 a night. We're going to be here for 2 nights. I'm just doing the math. I'm not going to pay my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't think about that. So I want you all thinking, when you're traveling and you have a speaking engagement, say somewhere else, you want to ask them, hey, do you have some local videographers? This is what I teach in the course. I'm gonna bless y'all now. For those of y'all that haven't signed up for the course, you missing out, because if I'm giving you this for free, you can imagine what you get when you actually pay to be a part of the community. But I tell people, go to Google Image and type in videographer. You want to find a high quality, or type in Baltimore, type in Florida, type in Orlando, find a beautiful picture of the cityscape and just put videographer Miami, Florida. Like type that text on the picture and then post that and say, I'm looking for a videographer in Miami, tag the one below. Now, because people don't read, folks is going to be tagging people that live in Tampa and live in Orlando, but that's cool because they might drive up, right? But you want to put it out there. Hey, I got a speaking engagement in Boston, Massachusetts. Tag a videographer that's in Boston. And now you're engaging with them, the people that they tag via DM. Hey, you came highly recommended. Send me your work. I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I would love it if you can volunteer your time. Nope, I can't volunteer. All right, well, what's your price? I'm going to ask. Listen to me, y'all. I'm going to ask. I'm speaking at a school. These kids need me. These babies struggling. I would love it if you can like back me to support these babies and volunteer your time. Half the time that work, then videographers be like, For the babies, all right, for the babies. You know, it's really for me. But they like, for the babies, let's go. But half the time they be like, man, I wish I could. I wish I would, but I could, but I'd be taking off work. I need to at least 300. I'm like, bet, because homeboy tried to charge me 1,500. I'll pay 300 all day. But now I'm like, let me see the quality of your work. Let me see the type of camera and lens you work with. You got a lapel mic that you can clip on me with the receiver that goes to your camera so the audio is pure. Don't y'all pay a video. I done made that mistake before, y'all. That's why you got a coach. Don't make the mistakes I made. I done paid a videographer top dollar and went there, and my man got the camera, and when I got the footage, I hear the echo in the room. I'm like, bro, you didn't have me mic'd up. You ain't put no roll mic on me. They was like, no, but the camera got a mic. Amateur. I'm like, I'll never make that mistake again. Because there ain't nothing professional about somebody watching your video, watching you speak, but they hear the echo in the room. You want to have that high quality audio. So make sure whatever that videographer is clipping on you, make sure that's a mic that goes into a receiver that picks up real clear audio. All right, I hope this was helpful. I could go on and on and on, but I do want to take your questions, and then I'm gonna go upstairs and tap in with the family and break bread. But I hope this was helpful. And I wanted to take some time to really sit with this tonight, because many of you are trying to figure, okay, how do I build this team? And you might see me and others with big teams, but it's like, we've been doing this for a very long time. You should be encouraged to know that it was just me for the first 2 years. You should be encouraged to know that after 2 years of me being consistent to the assignment, that's the timeline, Tracy went all in and quit her job and began to support me some. You should be encouraged to know that we did that for about 4 more years. Then Ebony came on the scene, kind of part-time with some social media stuff. And because Tracy was still handling some calls, and then she began to handle calls and negotiations. We trained her up. And then it was just me, Tracy, and Ebony for probably another 3 years before we began to slowly add on Ryan and Leslie and additional members of the team from there. And now I look up and we've got multiple companies, multiple team members, multiple families that we are responsible for. And so I want you all to be encouraged. I think you all understand now the importance of you not eating your seeds. You know what I mean when I say don't eat your seeds? You get that speaking engagement for $4,000 and you feel like, oh man, I done made my investment back ×2. Like I want to go and buy something. Like, nah, you put that aside, right? And if you quit your job, you might have to pay your bills, but you also need to figure out how can you put this back into your business, right? And so I remember getting some checks, thinking like all the things I got to do, but then I had to be like, man, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business. Man, I got 3 more speaking engagements coming up. I need to be able to book Javen's flight. I need to be able to book hotel. I need to be able to make sure that we can get there. Like some of those payments are going to be 30-day net, so it's not going to come right away. Like as much as I want to spend this and go on a vacation or go on a shopping spree, like let me put this back into my business, because what I don't want to do is eat the seeds that I should be planting. Because every time you get a check, oh, and by the way, when me and Tracy quit our jobs, God asked us to tithe 30%. So we was giving 30% tithe and offering to our local church and community. So for every $10 that would come in, 7 would stay with us. That would go to our family, taxes, savings. 3 would go to the local church and overseas missions and things like that. That was just something that God had us do. I think God was really testing us if he could trust us with wealth and millions later, like if we was really going to serve God or mammon. So that's just my personal thing. I'm just letting y'all know it's layers and levels to it, right? But I really believe for you all, you find that initial person that can handle those calls. You find that videographer locally that can rock with you. And when you go to different places, you find someone that does really high quality stuff and you let them know the stuff you want to get captured. Those are going to be those 2 main critical parts and pieces. And then when I built out our curriculum company, I hired people, educators that I knew that had relationships with, award-winning, those that had their PhD, like really certified, real deal people to help me build out the curriculum, paid them royalties in the back end, because I wasn't trying to use all the capital, because to print the curriculums and produce them enough alone was about $500,000 cash investment, because I wasn't trying to have to go to no bank for that. So I was trying to keep my cash capital. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a percentage of the royalties over a series of years to pay you back. So there are different ways that you can compensate the people that rock with you, that help to build out your business, to put you in the best position to win. So it's a win-win for everyone, but it all starts with you. Are you the person that they're going to want to follow? Are you the person that they're going to want to rock with? Are you the person that they're going to say, you know what? I see something special inside of her. I see something special inside of him. I'll follow him or her wherever they go. You know what I'm saying? And then are you the type of person that would you want to work for you? That's a whole nother conversation. Would you want to work for you? How do you treat people? I love hard. Sometimes a little too hard. You know what I'm saying? But like, how do you treat people? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you want to work for you? So some of you got to work out some kinks. You got to do some internal work, because there are people that's going to see your vision and they're going to believe in you and they're going to trust you. And they're going to literally say, man, I got my family, my children, my spouse depending on me, but I see something inside of you. And eventually they're going to let that go. And they're going to say, I believe in you and your vision. What a scary honor that is. You want to talk about building a team. Like, what are you doing to build you up? Do y'all know my team keeps me on the straight and narrow? Do y'all know the love and respect that I have for Prince and Jerry and Nick and Deani and Stevan and Kevin? Like the team that God has blessed us with. Do you know how I feel? I'm just like, man, I don't want to drop the ball. I don't want to get caught up on no stupid stuff. Let me not be selfish. Let me be very tactful. Let me be in prayer and in meditation and fasting to even make wise decisions and make the best moves because people are depending on me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole nother level of commitment. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm just like, I have a lot of people that's depending on me. And so it's like I be really leaning and depending on God. So just make sure that you put yourself in the position to be the best version of you, that you can be so that you can be your best. Because Sophie deserves the best leader. Sharice deserves the best leader. Jessica deserves the best leader. Like everybody that's within our organization, like I want to be the best me I can be. So I want to challenge each and every one of you as you're building your team to first build yourself. Jim Rohn says it best. Jim Rohn says it's better to work on yourself than to work on your business. That is so deep. The OG Jim Rohn said it's better for you to work on yourself than to work on your business because so many people want to work on the business, but what you don't realize is that you are the business. And so you want to make sure that you put yourself in the best position. You want to make sure that you're doing that while you're still present and you're still tapped in with the family. Some of you all that have a whole bunch of different things going on inside. Can I let y'all into my world real quick? Can I show y'all what an average day for me looks like? Let me just put yes in the chat. I'm about to just let y'all know what an average day for me looks like today. Just put yes in the chat. I'm literally going to walk you through what my day looks like so that you can see the level of intentionality that I attempt to have every single day. Are they saying yes, Prince? Just give me a thumbs up. I can see you. Yes,
sir.
All right, let me give it to you. So this morning, got up around 5 o'clock. Y'all know I need an hour of uninterrupted time with God. Made the meanest cappuccino, you know what I'm saying? Had my ice water and cappuccino, like I'm having my time with God. Get the kids up around 6:45. We have family worship at like maybe 7:20. By then, they done got the coals out their eyes. They done wash their face, and we go through the whole little you Syrian and you Chris. My boy got eczema and get them all lotioned up. Tracy gets them ready, get some breakfast. I take the babies to school. I'm having conversations. I'm a DJ. Y'all didn't know that, but I'm a DJ. I'm daddy DJ. So whenever we get in the truck, they like, Daddy, play Uncle Toby, play this song, play that song. So I'm playing music, you know what I'm saying? And every blue moon, they want to hear something ratchet like Plies. Jackson be like, Daddy, play my jam. What's in my pocket, dog? Big things, honey. I'm like, that's why I don't boy, but we listen to music. I drop them off at school. Then I go to the gym. After I get done with the gym, I went to the sauna, 30 minutes in the shower, took a shower, had a meeting. And this is not the safest thing to do, but I had a meeting on Zoom before I hit the gym. At 8:30, I had a meeting in the parking lot of the gym. Then I did the gym. Then I did the sauna, which is across town. Had another meeting come across town. Had two more meetings after that settled when I was here at the house. Then my wife wasn't feeling well. I had to go and pick up the kids from school and from two different locations on the campus because they go to this really dope school called GEC. And so I had to pick them up from two different locations on the campus. I had already got them a milkshake because I knew they'd be wanting some little snack. So I got my babies an Oreo milkshake. So we chatting, we talking, get back to the house, get them settled. Then I had to go across town again to meet with this place called Total Learning Concepts because I want my baby Jewel to be the strongest she can in math. So we have a tutor that comes to the house, but there's another school that specializes in math. And so I went there, had a whole 45-minute tour through this facility to see if we're going to sign sign the contract with them, get back, have time to shower, shave, because I had a crazy day, had a 6 o'clock Speakers Academy call, and then I'm on with y'all live. And in the middle of that, I'd have had 2 prayer sessions with different team members and close friends. I'd have talked to 4 or 5 of my team members throughout the day running some plays. That's what an average day looks like. Why am I sharing that with you? It is not just to let you into my world. It's to let you know. Some of you all feel like, man, I got this going on. I got that going on. All of that is necessary for the wiring of your mind so that you can be an efficient and effective business owner. Listen to me, beloved. This is not for the weak. I have never told you speaking is easy. I said, no, you can get compensated, the marketing, but the business of it, because you're still a mom, you're still a dad, you got a spouse, you're single, whatever. You got your own health challenges, you got your own thoughts, feelings, you're working, you're in school yourself, like you got life. So some of you all are like, man, I got so much going on. That's a part of the process. Because as a business owner, like imagine being in meetings and your team needs you to be able to think and problem solve and know when to say, this is what we should be doing. And then know when to say, you know what, I'll let you make this decision. I'm not quite sure. What do you think? And then be able to switch lanes and talk to somebody on the squad that's struggling. It's like, okay, let me pray for you and cover you. And then get on and challenge somebody else on the team in a very loving way. And then get on another meeting to see if these even worthwhile for your team. And then to check in with your wife. Oh, they only gave you 1 prescription. So now I'm gonna go back to the pharmacy and get the other 2 prescriptions. And then I'm gonna jump on this other call. Like, that's life. So I want to encourage some of y'all that feel like, man, it's like I got a whole lot going on. Ain't nothing gonna change. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of life. And so just know that some of the different things you have going on is really just to prepare you for the next level. So I'm just letting you know, I'm not immune to it. I'm not immune to the grind. I'm not immune to the shine. That's all a part of the process. I hope that was helpful. Jerry, let me get 4 or 5 questions. And because we're past 8 o'clock and I'm gonna get out of here.
All right.
Ready for the questions? You got some, Prince?
Yep. A. Hicks wants to know, what is a standard time commitment to plan on for hiring a videographer for one event with an applicable audience?
That's good. That is good. So what is a standard time of commitment to plan for hiring a videographer for one event? So I will say this. So it really depends, right? If you're going to speak for an hour, just me, Jerry, let Prince pull up the next question. If you're going to speak for an hour, you want to have that videographer maybe show up an hour before, and then you want to maybe have that videographer stay an hour afterwards. It's safe, Hicks. Hicks. So, you know, but now if they price is like $250 an hour, it's like, okay, homeboy, come 30 minutes before, stay 30 minutes after, but you want to gather those testimonials. So that's kind of what I will say. And then you have, every videographer is different. Some are going to say, I have an hour rate, I have a full rate. After 3 hours, it goes to a half-day rate. You got to just kind of negotiate. But I do like to have a videographer there on the grounds at least an hour before you take the stage. Why? They could show up late. There could be traffic. I've had videographers, they're supposed to be there at 2. They don't arrive till 2:50, and I gotta take the stage at 3. But luckily, I gave them an hour heads up, or I had them come an hour early, so they were able to capture me, get mic'd up, etc. So you really want to be intentional about having them come before and then staying behind afterwards. Now, sometimes, Hicks, you'll speak for an event, and then after you get off stage, there are more presenters. And so everybody's still in the arena, or they're still in the ballroom, or they're still in the auditorium, right? But if you have one of those events where you speak and then they break for lunch, or you speak and close the event out, or you're like the clock. Typically, when I go to events, 80% of the time I'm opening it up or I'm closing it out. I'm never really in between. So they either bring me in to kick off the event or to close the event out. The closeout is great because when I get done, everybody wants to be there. They want to connect. They want to take pictures. They want to cry. They want to hug. They want to high five. They want to dap you up. They want to shake your hand. And that's when you can get those testimonials. So you want to carve out an hour in a perfect world, an hour afterwards, so that that videographer can capture that experience as you're building out your brand. Good question. What else we got?
Jalil Mackey wants to know, as a sales leader, I've always hired and fired by company values to make sure there's a clear alignment. Does Next Level have company values? And if so, what are some of them?
Oh, great question, Jalil. We actually have four core company values. The first one is family first. We are a very family-friendly company. So our first one is family first. And so, we really want to make sure that people are really tapped in with their family. Another one is talk less, pray more. Talk less, pray more. Because in organizations, you can have one person that might build disgruntled and then want to talk to somebody else about it, and then weird energy starts festering. Talk less, pray more. We are people of God, right? So we really emphasize the importance of that. Exceed expectations is one of them. Going above and beyond, under promising and over delivering. Do your job. Like, do your job at the highest level is another one. Teamwork is another one. Over communicating is probably my favorite one. Over communicating is key, right? It's communicating is one thing, but when you over communicate, you drastically reduce up to 30% chances that something could possibly slip through the cracks. So we've actually got 14 different, we got one on integrity, so we got 14 different values that our company lives by. Good question.
All right. Sylvester Williams wants to know, what's the best way to grow my brand as a speaker? I have one as an NFL player and Super Bowl champion, but I want to grow as a speaker. I get booked, but it's gaps. How do I change that?
Yeah, Sylvester. So, I would have to do a deep and thank you for jumping on the live, man. I wasn't able to get to your call on the Academy call. But I would look at a few things, right? You want to first look at the sources. So if I understand there are gaps there. First off, congratulations, man, being retired NFL player, Super Bowl champion. Y'all show Sylvester some love in the chat. We actually have an event coming up next year. I think you'll be really excited to hear about. But I'll say this, man. You first want to figure out like what's working. Like, what's working for you? Like, if you realize, like, okay, it's 365 days in the last year, 52 weeks last year, and you realize, like, out of 52 weeks, say maybe you had, I don't know, 26 speaking engagements. And so it's like, what I'm saying, every other week you had a gig, or maybe a few months you had 2, 3 gigs, and then a few months where you didn't. Well, what was the source of those engagements? Were they in the educational space? Were they in the corporate space? Were they working with sports teams, NCAA, like collegiate, like D1, like, what I'm saying? Like, where were that? And how did you get those engagements? Because sometimes it might be a thing of reps, right? Like some people in our community that speak in the educational space, they say that donor runs is the game changer. But they say, but coach, I hit a wall. And you know what happens? Because they went to 20 schools. And out of the 20 schools, they got to meet with 17 principals. And out of those 17 principals, 10 of those actually booked them to speak. And a few times they came back repeatedly, and they had like 3 months would feel like they was popping, but they stopped. So I tell folks, like, whatever is working for you, keep doing it. Double down, triple down, what I'm saying, on those efforts. That's the first thing. Then it might be something, man, it's like, okay, what's stopping you from getting more opportunities? It could be the logo, the website, the marketing, the branding. Like, I would want to see that speaker reel. Is that speaker reel updated? Like, is it really, really strong? Is it super heavy on the NFL, but not enough with you speaking to youth or companies? Like, I would kind of want to look at all of that to kind of give a comprehensive suggestion of these are some things that you should do. But the first thing you got to look at is what percentage of my engagements came from referrals? What percent of my engagements last year came from repeat clients? What percentage of my engagements last year came from somebody I knew? What percent of my engagements last year came from somebody just randomly finding my website, what I'm saying, and filling out a booking form? And if so, from those people who randomly filled out my website, found my website and filled out the booking form, what percentage of those people found me on YouTube? And how many of them are following me on LinkedIn or Twitter or X or Instagram? You follow me? Like, we got to know our numbers, y'all. We got to know our data. Like, I know that 64% of the people that look at my educational website is on the desktop, right? But the other 36% of the people are on their smartphone. But on my regular corporate website, I found this reverse. It's about 60% of the people are on their smartphones. And like, you got to know your data. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that last year I had I averaged 3,000 people visiting my website per month, right? So that was like 100 people a day coming to my website. Like, you got to know your data. I know that 92% of the people who visit my website, you know what I'm saying, have come from America. The other 8% either are from Australia, South Africa, or South America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know your data. So figure out, Sylvester, okay, I look at all these engagements I had last year. What's bringing these engagements to me? What efforts can I double down on? If you see the majority of those engagements came from social media, where I gotta put out more posts, I gotta put out more content. Like, that's what you want to figure out to scale. So I wish I could give you a super short answer, but there could be 7 or 8 different things that's going to help you 3x your business next year. But I hope what I shared, man, was helpful.
Megan Anderson says, this is great information. Have you ever had to part ways with someone who was great at their position, but they didn't align with your values and brand? How did you go about expressing this?
Yeah, great question, Megan. So full transparency, I've had to sometimes our organization, we've had people that have been with our organization or the organization has outgrown their roles. And when I had a real conversation with them, they realized, like, yeah, you don't need me. And because they were mature and because they were healthy in the spirit and they were professionals, they honestly were like, no, you're right. You don't need us. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, I love you. Like, it's great, good energy. You can come into the conference for free in the future. But where we are, we just, and there was no other place to place them. Then I've had people that's in our organization that I'm still in communication with today that we've had to part ways, not because of anything that they did, but because maybe their roles changed and they were not able to either adapt with those roles, which happens. But then we had some people in some roles that did not fit their gifts and talents and skills. And it was actually having a negative effect on them. Because I had one person that was in a role that was not tied to their gifts and their talents, and they were not at peace. Think about that, y'all. I literally had someone that was with our company, the roles and things kind of changed in this other role that they were in to justify your salary. I'm going to put you here, but they weren't at peace with it because that wasn't really with their gifting and calling. And so I realized, like, man, I failed you as a friend. I should have been on some CEO stuff. I was on some, we're friends, so I'm gonna put you here to have it justify your salary. But I never thought, like, but that's not even your gifting. And now that you're operating outside of your gifting, outside of your calling, it was actually depressing this person. And so then we part ways, and now he's back in his gifting with another organization and is thriving. And we actually talked 2 days ago, right? And then there are some people that we've had to let go of our company years ago, and sometimes people make a mistake. We all have character flaws. We all have challenges, but then there are sometimes when somebody might do something, and it's just like, you know what? That's not in alignment with the brand. So we can't have you in this role anymore. But here's the great thing, Megan. I still got relationships with them. I still got relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had, you know what I'm saying, one person like put out some comments sharing their frustration publicly as opposed to coming to me. And I was like, that's not the brand. You're not in the spirit. You need some prayer, you need some help. And you go get some help, and then we can talk. And we're still in communication. And now whenever this person in the city, hey bro, just let you know I'm in the city, man. Nothing but love for you and the family. Like, we built like that. Like, we really do treat people the right way. And so we have very, 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 very low turnover, but I'll be thinking of like maybe 6 individuals throughout the totality of our company that have started with us and was with us for 2-3 years, you know what I'm saying, and then transition on for various reasons. But those are some of the reasons why. But again, even if somebody does something and their values don't align and they make a mistake, I'm still extending grace. Because we all need, come on, y'all put amen in the chat. We all need grace. You know what I'm saying? And so even though it's like, okay, you made a mistake, it's cool. I love you. We still gonna be in communication, right? But for right now, like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, this role was great, but we switched it over to something else, and that doesn't now fit within where you are. And so, we got to transition on from you. And every person that has ever worked with the organization, I still have an amazing relationship with every single person today. And that is a major blessing. All right, let me get 2 more questions and we're gonna call it a night.
All right. So this is the last one. And Stefan Lasser said, I just hopped on. How do you work on building trust with your team when your company was your baby to begin with?
So how do I work on building trust with my team when my company was my baby to begin with? So man, just without just being, man, y'all, like it is my baby. You know what I'm saying? And but it's like, but every parent at some point has to bring that baby to daycare. Every parent at some point, you know what I'm saying, has to bring that baby to the urgent care. Like, even if you homeschool that child, like you're gonna have to let other people in. And so for me, my biggest struggle, and my CEO helped me, coach helped me get over this years ago. And books have helped me get over this, but I kind of came to the conclusion that nobody is going to care about my company quite like I do. They might care deeply, but to kind of wrap my mind around, they're not going to care as much or as deeply as you. Then I kind of be like, well, some people might, but the reality is just like, you got to kind of set your mind. So for me, I set expectations and I kind of set my mind to that point there. And then, um, because I love so hard, two things about me, two pet peeves about me, is not feeling appreciated, not feeling respected. Um, yeah, and then maybe taken advantage of. But that kind of also goes with not feeling appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Like those are two pet peeves for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I never want to pull the this is my company, I'm the boss role. Does that make sense? Like that is draining. It's like, let's just stay in good energy, but let's not remind you this is my company. Like that just takes me out, right? But if I feel like somebody's taking advantage or maybe doesn't appreciate, and I don't have this issue with our company, but I have had people that have worked with in the past where I've kind of felt like, you don't appreciate or you don't realize it's just weird. And so for me, Stevan, to answer your question, bro, because that's a layered question, because that's deep in my spirit. I have to release, man, and I have to trust. You know what I'm saying? And I realize that that is a way to build even stronger relationships when you're able to trust more people. And so, I remember having a conversation with Nick like a year ago. I said, "Hey, Nick, I trust you," and that just meant the world to her. And I was just like, "Don't get it twisted. I trust you. Go with your gut." You know what I'm saying? Like I tell Deanna, hey, I trust you. Like ain't nobody perfect. So I'm learning to trust more. And my team, watch this, Devon. Bro, our team has helped to allow me to trust more because I sit back and I see how the team moves and operate. So it's easy for me to trust more. What you say? You was about to
Yeah,
say something?
yeah. I want to tap in because I remember a few years ago at the Next Level Speaker Conference, you were involved in literally every ounce of the development of the conference, from literally showing up at 5:30 in the morning, looking at the frame behind the camera, just to look at our camera so yourself and approve it. Now you just show up 5 minutes before you got to go on stage.
Come on. No, y'all, thank you for that, Prince. That's real. But Prince, you, Jerry, Deani, Stevan, like the team has helped me grow into that space. Nick, Mendoza, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're right. Listen to me, y'all. He is not lying. I would be showing up at 5:30. I'm a pray over the grounds now. I'm a dedicate that conference. Like, okay, this is holy grounds, God. I need angels in all the four corners of this conference arena, right? But so I'm praying, but I was there. He's right. I'm looking at the frame, I'm looking at the angle, the lighting. Okay, get back up on stage. All right, take the picture. Let me see. But he's right. I'm just showing up now, literally 5 minutes before I take the stage. That's what trust is all about. So my team has helped me love again. My team has helped me trust again. And so, I am in that space. And then there moments when something happens, the ball gets for sure. Shoot, I dropped the ball too. Like we're all human, but I've been blessed to have a great team. Phenomenal question, Stevan, to end this session. And ultimately, y'all, one thing people when my work on earth is done, you know what I'm saying? One thing people can't say about me, they can't say Jeremy didn't love deeply. Like one thing about me, I'm loyal, I love deeply. I literally try to treat other people how I would want to be treated. And I feel like that's just, they call it the golden rule. I literally live by that. I'm just wired like that, y'all. I'm always thinking about how would this make them feel? If I was in their position, what type of grace would I want extended? I'm just always trying to treat other people the same way that I would want to be treated. And I'm just going to take this opportunity, man, to say thank you to my team. Because while I'm teaching and talking and training about building a team, man, God has blessed me with a literally phenomenal team. And I'm really grateful for my team. And I'm really grateful for what we built. And we're going to keep getting better. And, that's why I go to the gym. And that's why I go to the sauna, like to take care of myself. That's why I'm waking up early to spend time with God, like to make sure I'm the best leader to lead my team. So if you guys take anything from this, God gonna give you what you need. Make wise choices with the resources, the people you attach yourself with. But the most important thing is make sure you do the best job for you to grow, for you to figure this out, and for you to navigate this space. Don't be so quick to have a team of 3, 4, or 5 people if it's not even necessary. Y'all heard my blueprint. It was 2 years, just me. Then year number 3, when I quit my job, Tracy, then 4 years, then Ebony, then a few more years. Then we brought on Ryan and others from there, right? And so pace yourself, be wise with it. But most importantly, make it a matter of prayer. You know what I'm saying? Make it a matter of prayer. Say, God, you know who I need to have on this team so I can travel the globe and speak and motivate and train and inspire the next generation of people. Right. So draw the people to me that I should be tapped in with. Thank you all for liking. Thank you all for subscribing. Definitely hit that little bell, to ring the notifications. And speaking of notifications, let me notify you, y'all. The Next Level Speakers Conference that took place here in Atlanta, we're taking it abroad. And we are going to be this weekend in Toronto, Canada, and next weekend in the UK. And if you did not know about that, check this video out in case we're coming to a country near you so you can pull up. Check this out.
It's my time. It's my turn.
Next Level will change your life.
This is my time.
Everything is here.
It's a dream come true.
Blown away.
It's a must-see.
September 28th is going down. E.T., Jeremy Anderson, the whole crew is coming to Canada. They're coming to pour into you if you're ready.
All y'all gotta do is show up. We're gonna show out. What's up, London? We on the way, y'all. Look, y'all ain't gotta come to us.
It's your girl, Hayley Melinda, and I'm bringing the big boys. Jeremy Anderson, Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Jamal King. Listen, I don't need to chat too much. We even got CJ coming, man. Listen, we're gonna show up and show out.
We'll see y'all in a few. Let's go.
Man, listen to me, y'all. This is going to be special. I can't wait to pull up to the T-Dot, to the 6 this weekend. And then the following weekend, man, we'll be in the UK. It's going to be special. Shout out to Coach Crump, man. This is Crump's vision. You talk about trust. He was like, bro, I think I want to take it international. I was like, I don't know. He was like, trust me, bro, be ready. Watch me work. I said, let me loose him and let him go. And so I'm super excited for him. And shout out to Orlando and his team. Shout out to Hayley and her team. Man, I can't wait to see y'all in the next few weeks, man. Y'all be blessed. Thank y'all for tapping in, man. Don't forget to subscribe. And God willing, man, I'll see y'all next week.